Hi everybody, welcome to CSA Bangalore chapters Cyber AI Insights and Power of Knowing Forum's Knowledge Nexus Talk, where tech moves and your ideas scale up you. And the discussion today is cloud security access, mastering identity in the age of zero trust, your go to podcast on how cloud security and IAM are shaping the access management realm. I am your host Prem Kumar AS today, and we will explore how IAM will impact cloud security. A special welcome to all the viewers tuned in today from Power of Knowing Forum and CSA Bangalore to our episode 235 today on LinkedIn Live. We are honored to have Kamal Bhardwaj, Cloud Security and IAM Lead, joining us. Let's welcome our esteemed speaker to our podcast event and let's dive into the topic. Hi Kamal, welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you, Prem. I
How are
appreciate
you today?
doing good. What about you?
Great, sir. A small intro about yourself for the audience, Kamal.
Sure. Well, I'm cloud security and identity and access management architect, helping team manage secure access in cloud without slowing them down. I have seen good side, bad side, and weird side of identity, and I'm excited to share that what I have learned in my experience.
Great, Kamal. With that, we will jump into our question and answers questions that we have, and just wanted to understand on how cloud security and identity access. What is the turning point that in your journey you realized cloud security wouldn't be enough?
Uh, let's talk about the traditional perimeter-based security first.
Mhm.
It used to be you are securing only a specific boundary of your
Mhm.
organization. In terms of industry, you are securing your office network with traditional security solutions like firewall and VPNs. So
Okay.
you trust who is inside your office location and you don't trust who is outside of your office location, and even the privileges and access that people are having inside the office is not well governed with these kind of solutions, traditional security solutions. So then there come a time when you realize that, oh man, our assets are all over the globe now. It's on prem, on cloud. People are accessing with their own devices, mobile devices, and then you realize there is a need to improve your security and go global with it. So there comes the zero trust uh, framework. Sorry for that. Then there comes the need of the zero trust framework, and people like me realize yes, there is a need to improve the security posture by adapting the modern world security solutions and implement zero trust security framework.
In zero trust, identity is the perimeter, but how do you practically balance accessibility with frictionless user experience?
Mhm. So it's a classic problem, right? So there is always a fight between usability and security. And when you talk to business owners, right, application teams, they always come back with the question, hey, is it going to hamper my productivity because I need to go through security layers and all that. But then let's see it from the zero trust perspective. So if zero trust framework says that your access should be context based. So for example, if you are working from same location, same office, same device in the same working hours, then you don't even realize that there is a security layer that you are going through, right? But if you are accessing your office network applications data from a different location suddenly, and in a awkward timings like middle of the night, then of course security will challenge you to provide will challenge you with more factors of authentication there. So if The zero trust security framework is implemented smartly, and if it is done right, then this friction there won't be any friction, and it would be almost invisible to normal users under normal circumstances.
Okay. Now, with that, how can you walk through us a real example where in a scenario where RBAC or IAM misconfigured created business disruption, and once
Uh-huh.
that disruption is done, how do we resolve it also is another challenge that we should look at, right?
Yes, this happens, with the implementation of IGA solutions, and it happened with
Mhm.
me as well.
Okay.
How you learn, right, with your experiences and others experiences. So it happens like, when you bring a new application under IGA scope, when you are moving from traditional way of provisioning and deprovisioning using polyscript and all those to independent applications to the centralized identity solution like SailPoint or some other IGA solution, then there is always a time when you configure your IGA solution to provision based on the best knowledge you have gained from application owner and application IT owners, right? But then when you uh, bring it live, then IGA solution can surprise you that it may remove access, add additional access on people, right? So something similar happened with me as well. There was a time when an application was onboarded, and that application was using a non-human identity, basically service account. And suddenly IGA solution thought that this account should not have the privileges assigned on it, and it removed it, and that caused application to go down for long hours, and even application team was clueless what happened with it. At least the application should work, if even if users are not able to work. So in that scenario, it took good amount of time by application IT team. Then we found out that the privileges that service account was having for authentication with the directory service, it's not having those privileges anymore. So the first step taken was to restore the privileges on that service account, and along with it, there was a learning as well. How can we prevent it in future? So there is a this custom solution that we built. It's called provisioning simulator. So this sits between the IGA solution and the target application. So with the first round, when you go live, right, even before going live, it acts as a pre-prod where all the things that IG is trying to perform in the target application, any CRUD operation, right? Those are captured and stored in a database, and from that database we were running a Python script to generate a report. What is the percentage of change on different attributes, access, and all other aspects of it? That this is a risky change, it's 50% change in target application, whether it is discussed or not. Analyze all those results, and then finally remove the provisioning simulator and let it go. Let it provision into the target application. But along with this, this is one solution that IGA team implemented, right, as a long-term strategy. Uh, it was a realization for application team as well that their service accounts, right, those should also be monitored by a SIM solution, right? Alert should be generated if something uh, is happening which is not approved or inappropriate, right? Like removing access from a critical account which is running their application. So then they added this service account into monitoring via SIM solution. So yeah, that is one big case that I remember at this moment of misconfiguration of RBAC. Prem, I think I lost your voice. I can't hear you. Prem, I
Sorry,
cannot.
I could not unmute myself because there was another screen which was running. Sorry about it.
Mm.
Uh, how should the mid-sized enterprise think about identity maturity? Is there a stage approach? you recommend for zero trust adoption?
Uh, yeah, so see, approach should be same irrespective of the size of the industry. The scale of implementation can vary based on the type of industry we are talking about, based on the kind of sensitive data that they have. Are they a research based company? Yes, it should be secured, more secured. Is it financial? Yes. So it depends actually, even if it is a small scale or mid-size scale industry, right? Like finance, then it should be equally secured like large enterprise there. But then when it comes to staging, right? So first of all, they should look at who has access to what and what are they doing. They should look at the privileges that accounts are having, right? The accesses that privilege accounts are having are, being used or not. Are those stale? Are there accounts that are lying in the system from long time and never even logged in, right? People left and their active accounts are lying there. So first step is to analyze as a situation of identity and access on the identities and then clean it up. So this should be the first stage. Now the second step I think they should take is defining the roles uh, for the identities. Go with the RBAC model, RBAC ABAC model. Uh, then the third stage is that they should focus on providing least privileges to identities, right? Do attestation process in a timely manner. Then finally they should have a solution that can detect the uh, suspicious behavior of identities, and finally implement just in time access in the system. So there should not be any persistent access. Everything should be just in time. People should get access only for the time that they need to work on, and it's not just limited to people but also non-human identities like access tokens, service accounts, and other kinds of identities like board even. So I think this is 4 or 5 step approach that
Okay.
any industry can take to migrate from traditional to the modern security approach.
Okay, got it. Uh, what are the signs that your current cloud strategy is failing and your team are leaving the business vulnerable?
So there can be multiple signs. Uh, for example, the first and most important is the backbone of the identity is MFA nowadays, right, in modern world. So if your MFA adoption rate is low, then that is the first sign. Second, that you are not aware of who has access to what and what are they doing. Second sign. Third sign, you don't have enough monitoring solution in place or no monitoring solution at all, and you are just trusting the people that uh, they are doing the right thing. You should have an incident and response plan for identity based attacks. If that is missing, then you are done. So I think these are some of the factors which uh, should be considered for securing your organization. If any of it is missing, then it's a failure ultimately. And most importantly, nowadays in a modern security world, right, you should have some solution that can detect suspicious behavior from users as well.
Yeah, that is more important today, right? With AI coming in, you have lot of tools that can detect suspicious behavior, and
Yeah.
that's where we are looking at AI coming. Now, with that, how do you see interplay of AI and identity access management shaping the next gen cloud security frameworks?
Yeah, I think it has already started. So if you look at the current IAM solutions that are available in market and the offerings, their offerings, right? They always, most of the solutions are selling the AI capabilities in their products.
Mhm.
And it's coming in from it started from they started providing role recommendations on identities. Uh, so the AI was recommending what role should be assigned on the user, what they should have, what they shouldn't have, right? Then in the now the I think the next phase that is going to be there is it is also AI is also going to change the way of requesting and approving we have today. uh, the request, approval, or provisioning the assignment of role on identity will happen based on context. It is going to be context based decision made by the AI, where AI is going to look at, do you really need access for this at this time from this location? Are you okay? So AI will take the decision whether you should have access or not, rather than you are requesting today, then your manager or the asset owner is approving the access. That is going to change soon.
I think what you're saying is right, where we say the strategy is going to change from a manual or an approval that needs to be over a mail or something, and that
Yeah,
automation is going to kick in, and it is going to shape the way identity and access is required for a
yeah,
particular resource or particular user. I think
yeah,
in that way,
yeah.
in your experience,
Hmm.
which roles beyond the CISO must be involved early in identity and strategy discussions for it to be succeeding?
Uh, I think there is a need to involve, application engineering teams, DevOps engineers, your automation teams, the business
Mhm.
owners, application owners, and most importantly, your help desk support team, right?
Okay.
uh, CISO can lead defining the identity strategy, but if these people are not taken along, then that won't be an effective identity strategy at all. Because if your operation team is struggling with the new identity strategy to
Hmm.
support that strategy itself, right, then it turns out to be a failure ultimately. So these people should always be part of the decision making during identity strategy definition, yeah. Defining the identity strategy. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, how do you handle a privilege creep over time, especially in large organizations with hybrid cloud deployments?
Yeah, so I think there is a need. It's an important factor to make sure that people are not having privileges more than they require to perform their job, to do their job on daily basis. And there are multiple ways, there are multiple steps that should be taken to make sure that there is no privilege creep in your environment. First is, you should analyze the privileges that users are having. Are they really using it or not at all? For example, now there are cloud native solutions available that can do this. For example, AWS Access Analyzer, it can clearly tell you whether a user is using a privilege which is assigned on them, from how long haven't they used that privileges. So you should clean those privileges. That should be the first step. Then these privileges, right, these should also be timely attested by the stakeholders like application owner or asset owner or even your manager in a timely manner. uh, you should keep looking. You should have just in time provisioning implemented in your environment, so that the access is automatically removed once the work is done, right? Also make sure that people are having just enough access to do their work. And then there is a requirement of automation to maintain this process as well, because it's really hard to maintain the RBAC model and RBAC APAC model, the least privileges, just in time privileges. So you should keep on cleaning it up as well. So for example, there is an application for which there is a privileged role available in your solution. Now that application is decommissioned, then with the decommissioning of that application, that privileged role should also be removed from your IGA solution, your directory services, security groups, and all that. So it's a process. It's a process, and it should be repeated in a timely manner. Always there should be automation in place. For example, when application or a server is decommissioned, right? Then related security groups or roles that are implemented to provide privilege access on those assets should also be cleaned up along with it.
There now, how do we clean up? Because I think when we talk about cleanup, there should be a policy that we should look at people leaving the organization or going into higher positions, right?
Yeah,
What is the mechanism? I think when you talk about cleaning up the
yeah. So,
identity access part, how do we look at and
so
what? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so there can be, one is ABAC. You are changing department, right?
Hmm.
Then if your access is defined based on department attribute, it changes, and the access that you got, privileges you got because of that particular department should also change, and this can be very well implemented by using any IG solution that we have today. So this is one of the examples. Second example is there are going to be access which are not based on attributes or even your roles. So those are the access that you get by request at times. So whenever there is a change in your department title or even your location, right? In those scenarios, there should be a attestation process initiated for your manager and for the asset owners to certify whether they should still have those access or not. And it's not just limited to privilege access, but even the normal access that users keep even after moving from one department to another or leaving the organization. The access lingers on disabled accounts for days until it is cleaned up. So yeah, so these are the ways that can be used for cleaning up automatically from the system.
Coming to that point, what are the KPIs or metrics should leaders actually care about when it comes to access, security, and identity controls?
That's a good question. So Uh, when it comes to KPIs, right? Security KPIs especially, you want to look at the risk factor first of all. And if you look at most of the solutions that are available today in market, they provide ways to score your risk on identities and roles based on the privileges that they provide in the target system. So you should first look at your risky or the privileged users. How many are there? Right? Too many admins, too much risk. Should reduce them. So look at that metrics for sure. Then look at your MFA adoption rate. Is it like you are having just 60% or 70% adoption? It should be 100%. If one way of MFA is not working, then implement another solution of MFA. It can be access token or anything, if not, kind of a traditional solution like Microsoft Authenticator and all. Then you should look at the report of access attestation. How many privileged access have been approved, how many are denied by the reviewer, how much cleanup is happening, is it effective or not. uh, then you should also look at the access violations that are happening in your organization. There should be solution to detect them and should be able to report as well. You should also look at the delays in provisioning and deprovisioning of access. For example, someone leaves the organization today and the privileges are still assigned on their account after 5 days, 6 days, whatever buffer time you decide, or no buffer time at all is the best. So there should be report for this as well, and this ultimately leads to improvement. So I think these are the factors that should be looked at uh, when you make
As a key
KPIs.
metrics,
Yeah.
where does where do most of the companies go wrong when implementing role based or policy based access controls in a cloud IAM?
Uh, so I think one of the problem is related to role explosion. So you are creating too many roles. Uh, so you are creating roles for individuals. You are creating roles at granular level. This increases the role size, right? Number of roles, and it becomes hard to audit and even maintain those role definitions. uh, Another similar issue is the complexity of role assignment. Uh, for example, a person is assigned with the, let's say, 30 privileged roles, individual roles for different applications, right? Then it gets really messy to get all those access reviewed, and even if you can get it reviewed from different stakeholders, then it it is really hard to maintain the record and audit those assignments in a timely manner. Then you should have a solution in place to monitor what people are doing with those roles. Are they really using those role definitions or roles that are assigned on them? If not, clean them up. Then there is a need of regular attestation of role composition itself, right? So for example, I add five granular permissions in a role. There could be in future only two permissions are required and not three. So this role composition should also be attested, not just the role assignment on the identity, in a timely manner, so that role owners can take the decision and sim can be keep maintained in the IGA solution. uh, so I think these are a few factors. Then there is this modern world factor as well, that you should have context based uh, dynamic access provisioning. Again, coming to the zero trust part there, where AI will play a major role, is already playing, in fact. So if you don't have that in place, then yes, again, it's again could result in failure of RBAC as well.
With that, when we look at identity mistakes,
Hmm.
what's one identity mistake you have seen across cloud ISPs that keeps reoccurring even today or in 2025?
I think it is mostly about not managing secure access properly to your the sensitive data that is stored in cloud. Because there are some people access that data from your office network, some from outside, and most of this transaction happens within cloud itself, right? One cloud to another, or people are accessing that data from internet, and there could be multiple factors for this. One could be, the weak IAM implementation. So you don't know who is accessing what and when. There could be inadequate authentication mechanisms that cannot ensure the secure access to that sensitive data. You should have MFA enabled. Then lack of encryption of that data, misconfigurations. I think these are some of the factors there uh, that contributes to it.
Okay. Uh, Coming to that point, how do you see, or can we see an adaptive control that
Mhm.
made a measurable difference in stopping insider or external breaches?
Um yeah, uh, see, dynamically adjusting the permission on the account in real time, based on the context again. Uh, so, for example, there is an account which is compromised, right? And it is traversing through your the cloud, and it's a suspicious behavior again. then there should be solution in place to remove the permissions from the account in real time and limit the attack surface there, reduce the risk, and it also helps you in taking action in real time for the data breaches. I think this is one example that I can think of, the important one.
Uh, Coming to our next pointer, how do you see uh, you coach IT and security teams to speak the language of the business? Because when we are defining the ROI of identity and because identity is the first security, right? So how do you tell them to look at security and uh, IT as a security, right?
Yeah, I think it is a word play basically.
Okay.
So, when you are working with the technical teams, you use mostly technical jargons. Business doesn't. They may understand, but they don't. Can't go into depth uh, till the technical jargons, right? So you should use the business language when it comes to this. So, for example, when you say identity first, security improves authentication. Uh, well, this is technical. You don't say this. So you say identity first, security ensures smooth authentication process for your end users. Right? Another example is, why do you need MFA? So you explain it that it reduces risk by prompting risk of unauthorized access in case if your primary factor, which is password or PIN, is compromised. So it reduces the chances of attack in certain scenario. It reduces risk ultimately. You use words like compliance. So how does your IAM help you? So you don't tell that it is identity and access management. No, you say that this is a centralized identity solution which can help in compliance and smooth uh, onboarding and offboarding experience for end users. So
Okay.
ultimately, it's all about words, and how do you frame those words for business? They like these kinds of words. IAM solution also can reduce the cost, IT support cost for the organization. Yeah, then it's a go from business side, right? You're saving
No,
some.
I think what you are saying is in terms of saying that you should tell them what is the ROI that they are going to get while
Yeah,
do they implement is what I understand, right? So
yeah,
business would need, if I bring you this solution, this many people, and this is what you are going to implement. When are we going to pick up that and say this is what we are secure of? What is that we are saying? What is the compliance score that we get? How are you making the ROI? I think that's what I think you are taking in
yes,
care.
yeah.
What advice would be a good start or early start professionals trying to build a career in IAM and zero trust? What is the advice that you would like to give to them to start with? Because IAM and zero trust are or have become the uh, critical elements of any business, because without IAM and zero trust, you are not starting the role based access given to them, right? So how do you tell these early stage professionals to build careers on these tools or these platforms, IAM and zero trust?
I think even before IAM and zero trust, the early starters or freshers should gain knowledge about the foundation of cybersecurity itself. If you don't know why you are doing it, then you will lose interest in matter of time, and you will find it a burden on yourself. So first understand the foundation of cybersecurity itself, then move on to gain knowledge on IAM and zero trust, understand
Mhm.
how IAM is helping in cybersecurity, and how setting it up in a zero trust framework help organization more, right? And then from there move on to having hands-on experience on these products, technologies. Keep yourself updated, read the journals, stay updated, read about the latest attacks that are happening and how can you secure that. Uh, then look at advanced technologies in security, study about them. And then finally, I think the most important is that once you have the foundational knowledge, uh, you should, along with your office hours, maybe 8 hours or 9 hours on daily basis, give at least 1 or 1.5 hour on yourself to learn new things about it. That's more important. So if you are investing time in learning, at least you will learn something, whatever it is, right? So that's more important even than doing the hands-on and other. You will do hands-on if you have time. You if you are spending time on yourself and spend money as well. So for example, when it comes to cloud, right? Cloud IAM, I would say it doesn't cost you much. The cost is pretty cheap. You get all the trials in free. Try that yourself. Don't wait for organization. Don't wait for organization to give you work and so that you can gain experience. Do it yourself.
I think you're trying to tell them that there is a fundamental start that you should do with the test tools that they are giving free as a cloud service. I think
Yeah.
most of the service providers like AWS, Amazon, GCP give these trials for a year or so, and you can test all that as a this one in the cloud is what you're saying.
Yes.
With
Exactly.
with this, which myths around zero trust and identity still persist at the leadership table, and how do we burst them?
I think at least the security leaders are very smart. They know about these technologies, right? Uh, but in common sense, right? Some people think that zero trust is a product, whereas
Hmm.
it's not a product; it's a framework, right? It's a
Yeah.
so it's a how do we say that? It's kind of show you the way how the security should be implemented. I think this is the first myth for zero trust. Another myth could be, people think that zero trust means don't trust at all, but that's not true, right? Zero trust means that you trust, but with condition. So
No,
it's
zero trust, I think what we are saying, I think if you really look at what zero trust means, I think the pointer that we are saying is you don't trust anything that is there. You audit everything that you give access to, right?
exactly, exactly,
Right? And zero trust means we don't have trust on anybody who, at that moment, if there is an access that is to be given, how long it is to be given, whether that access is getting revoked after some
with
time. These
condition.
are the pointers that I think zero trust is talking about, right?
Exactly,
So,
exactly. So it's conditional, condition-based trust, basically,
yeah,
the core of it.
yeah.
Uh, then there could be other myths, right? That zero trust is only for large enterprises. That's not the case. Even
Mm,
should be implemented in small scale, mid-sized enterprises as well. Uh, and some people think that it requires complete overhaul of existing infrastructure. That is also not correct. I mean, you can start with one portion. For example, you can take your cloud tenant,
mm.
secure the data that is there in your cloud environment, go from there, take an incremental approach, and then implement it in your or implement it in at the organization level. So I think these are some myths that I can think of.
I think with that, for the business and the CEOs watching, why or what are the key questions should they ask if their tech leaders ensure identity risks are under control?
Uh, I think they should know about their identity management system, security policies, and their plan for incident response. Right,
Hmm.
that should
Hmm.
be the first step. Then they should inquire about MFA adoption rate, which is now the backbone of identity security. They should know about what are the identity types in their organization, how many entities are there, how many are privileged, how many are contractors, huh? And what level of access have been provided to them. They should know that what principle of least privileges is in place in organization to make sure that people have just enough access to do their job. They are not having too many privileges. There is no privilege creep actually. uh, they should know about the threat landscape in their organization, not just organization but in general, and then specific to their industry itself, how or what they need to do to prevent themselves from attacks that are industry specific or in general. uh, they should know what kind of risk management framework is in place in their organization to assess the risk, and how are you going to take the action on those risks. uh, they should know about the security policies in place, the procedures, the controls that they have, security controls in organization. Are they effective in today's world or not? They should look at the control sets that have been implemented in the organization. Is it like different countries have different requirement of controls or regulatory compliances, right? So they should be aware of those changing regulatory compliance on daily basis, right? Sometimes Europe comes with the different requirements, US comes with different requirement, different regions, different compliance requirements. So I think
Mm.
these are some points that or things that they should know. Uh,
I think pointers taken there. Now, what are some of the unknowns or the black swan risks in identity and access management that leaders aren't preparing yet? So, is there anything that where we should look at? Kamal?
uh, yeah, I think well, there are too many unknowns, right? There are too many unknowns today, and we are living in the world of AI and machine learning, right? So we can expect more threats driven by AI and machine learning, more attacks on the organizations from these advanced technologies. Then there is quantum computing that is coming up, right? It's already there, in fact, and
Mhm.
they have the potential to break most of the encryption algorithms that are available today. Uh, then and they should be aware of the advanced skill requirements from people, uh, the people shortage, uh, right sizing their team, right? So I think these are some of the factors that they should uh, kind of act as a black swan. We cannot predict it. uh, we can only hope that we are prepared for these unexpected events, but these can happen. There is no control over it, but we should have a plan to face them.
I think with that, I am coming to the last question that I have with you, or last two questions. How do you infuse empathy and human centric leadership in conversations around access controls, right? Especially during audits and incidents.
Uh, well, it's the empathetic attitude itself, right? So you listen to your team members, listen to their suggestions, discuss their suggestions, weigh pros and cons, and take the decision, right? Uh, so this is how your access control discussion should go about. You should be open for suggestions, open dialogues. You should ask for their feedbacks, interact with them regularly, one to one, common meetings, whatever. You should understand their emotions. Even provide feedback if their suggestion is not so good enough that it can be taken into consideration for the organizational security, right? And then when there is an audit or incident that happens, I think we should look at the root cause before even look at the human error there. And we should work on implementing some automated functionalities so that we can prevent human errors in future, and also prepare our support our staff, humans basically, with whatever they need, provide them enough space to learn, uh, support them with different kinds of requirements that they have to grow in the organization and in their career. uh, I think these are some of the most important factors there when it comes to human centric leadership.
Coming to the final question, what's your personal north or guiding principle when it comes to leading secure yet empowering technology environments?
Yeah, I think it's again a classic debate between usability and security,
Okay.
right? So you are always it. There comes the time when you are confused whether should we implement this security feature or not. Is it going to reduce the productivity of engineers? Is it adding any value, or is it a overburden? Right? It also
Mhm.
costs companies. But then you see, you got to discuss this with the different stakeholders like business owners, application owners, your help desk, the problems that they are facing. And then nowadays, right, you hear about a cyber attack almost on daily basis, and now it's
Mm.
not just limited to just organizations. You hear about cyber attacks on individuals, right? uh,
Yeah.
their money has been stolen from their bank account itself, right? So now it is getting bit easy for us to convince business owners that, hey, so you should adopt this secure way of working rather than go with the traditional way, and ignoring security just for productivity. So there has to be some compromise on both the sides.
It is, I think we are good on the topic. Just I wanted to summarize on what I have taken some pointers that we spoke about today's discussion. Kamal, I'll take that pointers. I'm just taking. You have taken put some notes there. So I we spoke about a story from migration project to a breach alert. Then we spoke about trade-off stories, security where identity is underestimated and stuff like that. Then we spoke about mid-size environments, identity maturity side, and how it is zero trust is adopted. We spoke about signs your cloud strategy failing at teams, leaving it vulnerable. Then we spoke about some of the life cycle managers where we look at interplay between the identity this one in the next generation frameworks. We spoke about life cycle pieces where we spoke about KPIs and metrics. Then we also looked at role based policy based access in cloud IAM, and we spoke one identity mistake that could have crossed ISPs and still recurring, and it is still there. That is one point that we spoke. Then we spoke about coaching IT teams to speak the business language and tell businesses how they have to speak when it comes to an implementation and giving a update in terms of ROI. And we spoke about advice to early starters on the IAM and zero trust framework. We spoke about myths around zero trust and identity still persist when they are put under the table for on the table of the leaderships. And finally, we spoke about unknowns and black swans. And we spoke about the final pointer was about human centric and a personal North Star guiding principle. With this, I think this is what we covered in the last 45-50 minute session today. And that's what we have with Kamal today. Kamal, any pointers that you have before we close the session, Kamal?
Yeah. I think we covered most of it when it comes to zero trust and identity based security in cloud and also in on prem, right? It's the same
Mhm.
factors that you consider even for on prem, though the cloud is a bit more complex when it comes to, access tokens, most importantly, access tokens, and then the misconfigurations that can happen. There are different ways to provide privileges to an identity in cloud, right? For example, S3 bucket, right? Access can be provided in, I think, three ways to an account. So you got a way in how should you provide the access. You should have a centralized way. So I think we covered all there.
Yeah.
Uh, and learn and grow, stay updated with the current cybersecurity trends. And I think that's all. Wish you the best as well.
Yeah, thank you for that. Hope the audience have taken a good stock on what we spoke about security, cloud security, access, mastering identity in the age of zero trust. With this, we have streamed this podcast across LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Hope you found this session valuable for you. And our next podcast is scheduled for tomorrow, which is talking about tariffs, the big, medium, or small organizers thriving the de-globalization at 6:30 p.m. IST tomorrow. Looking forward to see you there. Thank you, Kamal. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Prem. Have a nice day.
So,